戏不散，大唐就不会亡。
那就在场。
你说。
Lost Soul Aside is a new hack and slash game with a fast-paced gameplay inspired in Devil May Cry, and the game is being developed by the studio Zero Games. It's being developed in Unreal Engine, and in the gameplays and trailers it looks really interesting, with a unique combat system with a lot of mechanics, enemies and bosses. So if you like games like this, you should keep an eye out for it. The game is probably coming out in 2025, but there is still no release date yet, and it's coming out for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and PC. And just remember, PlayStation 4 version could be cancelled, but not yet.
We shared land and history.
Us is a third-person game with some RPG mechanics, all set in a semi-open world, and the game is being developed by the studio Rogue Factor.
Families frozen in terror, grief, and rage.
Explore this dark, mysterious and dangerous place, seeking answers for our questions, all with a fast and dynamic melee combat, fighting against mysterious and bizarre creatures. The game looks too impressive to believe, but if it's as good as it looks, we need to wait to see it in 2025. And the game is coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Series S and PC.
This thing of ours.
Mafia The Old Country is the new episode of this series, a very acclaimed series by the way. The game is being developed by the studio Hangar 13, the same studio from Mafia 3 and Mafia 1 Remake.
Do not exist among us.
The game will be set in the start of the 20th century, and beyond that we didn't see much of the game yet. But if they do a great work like they did in Mafia Remake, it's going to be insane. And there will be a new trailer and new information in the end of 2024, maybe even with the release date. But the game is coming out in some moment of 2025, for Xbox Series X, Series X, PlayStation 5 and PC. Chrono Odyssey is a huge and ambitious open-world MMORPG. The trailers of the game look unbelievable, and the game is being developed by Chrono Studio. The game will be set in a huge open world with a great exploration and combat system and amazing graphics in Unreal Engine 5. And they say it will have a time mechanic in the game that will change the scenario. The game still have no release date, maybe 2025, maybe 2026, we don't know, but it's coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S and PC. Instinction is a game for you that is the old and classic dinosaur game. This one is going to be an FPS and is being developed by Hashbane Interactive Studio.
I hadn't come here for this.
As you can see in the image, the creatures are really impressive in graphics and also move, and it's probably going to be the most realistic dinosaur game ever. The game is absolutely impressive by the trailers and gameplay, but to see the full version of it we need to wait a little bit longer, as it's coming out to Xbox Series X, Series S, PlayStation 5 and PC in some moment of 2025. The Outers is a mysterious and intriguing game with impressive scenarios. The game is being developed by the 11-bit studio and will probably be one of the best games of its year.
And see the outcomes of those choices with your very own eyes. The Altars tells the story of
Explore this dark and vast universe, seeking for resources, but also building and improving your base. And believe it or not, trade relations and binds with other versions of yourself. Yeah, that sounds crazy. That's why this game looks so interesting.
Yan will need to handle a large mobile base that's designed to be operated by an entire team of qualified personnel.
Did you know this one already? If you didn't, know that this is coming out in the next year, 2025, for Xbox Series X, Series S, PlayStation 5 and PC.
Yan simply lacks the time and skills to deal with all these problems on his own.
Wuchang Fell in Feathers is a new action RPG in a Souls-like style and looks absolutely amazing in the trailer. The game is being developed by the studio called Lindsay.
Signs are really subtle, but over time.
And the game will explore dark and mythological old China, with factions fighting for power, but also some powerful and impressive creatures. So if you like Souls-like games, prepare for this one, because what we have seen so far looks pretty great. It will be really good to explore and discover the mysteries of this game, but you'll need to wait until 2025 to finally play it, and it's coming out to Xbox Series X, Series S, PlayStation 5 and PC. Project The Perceiver is a Chinese fast-paced action RPG game set in an open world and with a Souls-like gameplay. The game is being developed by the studio Paper Games.
那就再唱下去吧。到底是人活进了戏里，还是戏？
The visual beauty of this game is something insane, with graphics and mainly due to the movement of the character and enemies. To explore the vast open world of this game is surely going to be really pleasant.
可主，这把剑，我本不想沾血。
It looks breathtaking, but we need to wait a little bit longer, because there are no release date yet. It may come out in 2025 or 2026. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and PC, and PlayStation 4 version could be cancelled. We don't know yet.
如何相提并论？
The Sinking City 2 is the sequel of the first game. It's a survival horror inspired in the books of H.P. Lovecraft, and the game is being developed by the studio Frogwares. Explore this dark and flooded city set in the year 1920, filled with hideous creatures and huge monsters. The game looks gorgeous in the trailer and is even being developed in Unreal Engine 5, what makes us think that the graphic is going to be really great. Everything looks really good, but you need to wait, as there is still no release date yet, but may come out in 2025 or 2026, Xbox Series X, Series S, PlayStation 5 and PC. Where Winds Meet is a new open-world action RPG with some Souls-like mechanics. The game is being developed by Everstone Studio and looks very promising. The game will be set in a mythological China, and it's one of those games to play for hours and hours, discovering new areas, getting better equipment, and doing the main and also secondary quests. All that sounds really exciting, right? But you need to wait until 2025 or 2026 to finally play the game, and it's coming out to PlayStation 5 and PC. A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead. I'm sure you know the movies of the franchise A Quiet Place, but now let's see the game with the same idea. You're in a place full of creatures that lurks and follow any sound they hear, so you need to be silent if you want to survive this new survival horror in a single player game, all in an immersive first-person camera. If If you like this idea, know that the game is coming out in October 17th, PlayStation 5, PC and Xbox Series S and X. No More Room in Hell 2. A co-op up to 8-player survival game. Face the zombie outbreak with your friends in an FPS experience. Explore the dark and obscure corners of the city. Search for resources and better equipments, all in a dynamic and brutal experience. So play it in the early access in October 22nd on PC. Jurassic Park Survival is the new experience of the most famous dinosaur park. The game is being developed by Studio Saber Interactive, the same studio of World War Z and Evil Dead the game.
Can anyone hear me? It's Dr. Maya Joshi. I've been left behind on Isla Nubla.
In the game, you'll play as a survivor in the classic park, so you need to run, hide, or even use the environment to create distractions to pass by the dinosaur. It's better be aware if you're going to play it. All about the game sounds really fun, but we still don't know when it's coming out, maybe 2025 or 2026, and it's going to be released for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Series S and PC.